Okay, welcome back. And now we're going to be adding our workflows to the sign up login flow. Okay, so the first thing, as per usual, I use Command K or Control K instead of me clicking on this button. So I click on the elements and I just do this. So that way it simply does. So if I go here and I say add workflow, the same thing to do. Alright, so I'm going to be selecting the elements that I want to add workflow to. And the last one is this one. Okay, so what happens when I click on the sign up flow? One more, I'm going to add a custom event. Reset. Okay, so let's start with the sign up flow. First thing, what happens? I want you to sign the user up. So, which means it's going to make changes to the data. So you have the color orange. Create a new folder. What happens here? So the first thing I'll say, sign the user up. Email is input email address is value, password input, password value, and require yes, confirmation, enter password value. Something we missed in the previous video. This is email. This is password. Oh, okay. I actually did do that. Email and over here, password. Now, what does this mean? The content format. So if I set this as a password, when I preview this and I'm typing in my password, it's going to be hidden. So that's the reason why. And if I don't set this as email, which is the content format, if I don't set it as an email, when I start to type in, if the email address is not correct, Bubble won't be able to easily identify that. That's if I set it as a text. But since it's an email, it's always looking out for the @ and the .com. All right, so I signed the user up, and thinking about our flow, I want to trigger a reset pop-up afterwards. So once the user signs up, I'll say trigger a custom event, and the custom event is reset. So it's going to take the user from here. So after you sign the user up, the next thing you want to do is to reset the pop-up. So I'm going in here. So it's going to flow from here and come here. So what do I want to do here? I want to create a folder, call it reset pop-up. And in here, I am going to reset the group or pop-up, this pop-up resets, and I'll say hide an element. Element to hide is this pop-up. Okay, I have one issue. Okay, that's on the index page. All right, so we have that. The next thing we want to do is to do the same thing for the login. So orange, login. I want to sign put the user in, email, login, input email address, login's value, login, value, and I'll copy this here and I'll paste this here. So, all right, so now we have our login flow built out. The next thing we want to do is to introduce states. So states should be on the highest level of the app. What I mean by that is whenever you want to create a state, don't create a state in here, in here, or anywhere else, unless it is necessary. But in most cases, you should always put your state in the highest level of your app. And in our use case, the highest level is our pop-up itself and not the things that keep going. So these are the levels. You see it keeps going inside. As you can see here, we have to put it on the highest level. So right now I'm on the highest level, and I can add a state from here by simply adding a new custom state, or I can say when I click on this button, I can create my state from here by typing state, set the state of an element. So here I can also create my state. Okay, so I'll just go back here, add a new custom state, and I'll call it view. It's going to be a text. So a state can be anything. Basically, what a state does is a state stores information or data on the page level. It doesn't store it in your database, it just holds it on the page. And if you reload the page, your state gets reset. So let's say I do a calculation and say 2 plus 2 is 4. If I don't save 4 in my database and I save it on my page level, when I refresh the page, 2 plus 2 becomes empty. So I have to calculate that process again. So for example here, what we're doing is we're setting a state called view, and my default value of my state is sign up. So how is this relevant to what we're doing now? So over here, what I'll do is I'll set a condition and I'll say when pop-up sign up view is sign up, this element is visible. Okay, so remember the default value is sign up, so which means this element will be visible by default. That is our sign up view. So what I'll do is I'll copy this out and I'll paste this here, and I'll say when it is log in, the sign up section should be visible. So what else do I have to do? So over here, I'll go to my layout and I'll say collapse when hidden, and I'll check this. So now we're not going to see this, all we're going to see is the sign up. But before we leave, I'm also going to say collapse when hidden, and I'll turn this off because this won't be visible as well. The reason is because we're going to be changing the state's value. All right, so I'll go back to my workflows, and since this is a state, I'll make it blue, and I'll create a new folder and I'll call it set view. Okay, so what happens when I click on this text login? Remember, the text login is for do you already have an account? Log in. So which means it should change the view. So the element states I want to change custom state view, and I want the value to be do you already have an account? Log in. So I want the view to be log in. Okay, so I'll do the same thing here. So I'll just copy this, and here I'll say blue, set view, and I'll paste this here. So the same states, I'm just changing the value of the states. So this one is sign up, which means don't have an account. I want to sign up. So just by doing that, we'll be able to switch the views between the elements here. So you can switch from login to sign up to login. All right, so the last thing I want to do here is I want to uncheck visible on page load. You will see why in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go to my header page. I have a lot of version 2, so I have to delete a few of them. Okay, so what happens when I click on logged in? So when I click on this button, what happens? All right, so we don't have that set up yet, and I'll do the same thing here. Okay, so that's for that. And what I want to do now is I'll go pop up, sign up, login version 2. I'll add it here. It's looking this way because I made every element invisible. So when I click on this button, I want to show an element as well as set a state. So I'm using cyan instead because I'm using both the navigation and the state. So I'm going to create a new folder and I'll call it here as well. And same thing here, cyan, and I'll say sign up. Okay. So in login, I'm going to say set state of an element. Element I want to set state, pop up view, and I want to say log in. And then show an element. Element that I want to see is there we go. So I'll do the same thing here. I'll just copy, paste, copy, paste. Doing it different this time is I want to say set the state as sign up. So the reason why I'm setting the state is the moment you click on the button, you get to see the right view on the pop-up. So how do we test that this is working? So I'll go to my index page. I'll just go data. Is it my index page now? Let me see. I have a reusable header. Yep, it's my index page. Okay. So over here, I just added that functionality on header 2. So I have to add header 2 here. So header 2 is this one. I'll just delete this one for the moment. We have header 2, and the next thing I want to do is click on preview. All right, so let's confirm if this is working. So if I click on login, I get to see login. And if I click on sign up, I get to see sign up. Also, if I say log in, don't have an account, sign up. So how do we know if our states are working? So if I click on login, I checked step by step at the bottom and I click on it. Let's see what happens. When text login is clicked, on next, you see set states of view. And what's the value? Login. And there you go. It switches it. How did I do what I just did? So at the bottom here, look at my mouse. I go down step by step. So this way I can debug to see if this is doing the right thing. Okay, so one last thing before we leave that I didn't do in the previous video is if you go back here to our new pop-up we just created, I'll be deleting all of this in a second, is I want to say general element, a pop-up is closed. So when this pop-up is closed, I'll put you in reset and make you brown because you're a custom event. Trigger custom event reset, and over here I want to reset relevant inputs, then reset the entire pop-up. All right. So why did I just add that? It's because let's say I'm logging in and I start this and I do this, and if I click outside of it, when I go back, it's going to give me a blank. Everything should be blank inputs and all of that. So thank you for watching this video. Now you should know how to sign a user up or log a user in. So let's just sign up. This is this at gmail.com. Hopefully that isn't anyone's email. Just go da, and I sign up. See what happens. There we go. Sign up works fine. So yeah, thank you for watching this video.